This is Rosen Institute's Your Law Firm, where Lee Rosen and Ned Days cover management, marketing, finance, and new technologies for building the practice you deserve. Here's Lee Rosen.
It's good to be with you today from Singapore. Most of Southeast Asia has lots of folks struggling financially. Singapore is different than most of the rest of the region. The people here are better off, much better off, and life is better for them. That makes Singapore different from the rest of the region in most every way. Singapore is more comfortable, it's more convenient, there's more luxury, it's cleaner, the people are healthier. It's a dramatically more upmarket experience. Of course, that also means that it's more expensive. Do I like Singapore more than Vietnam or Cambodia or Thailand or the rest? Well, no, they're all great in their own particular way. Singapore, it's just different, and different, well, that can be good too.
It's time for your tech tip. If you are not familiar with the term cargo cult, the short history is that as the islands in Melanesia were colonized and became staging areas during war in the 1900s, ships and planes full of resources came in, and some of this made its way to the local population as a gesture of goodwill or to distract them from all of the military hardware showing up. It's hard to know for sure. But some of the tribes developed religious practices in the years after in an attempt to conjure up more supplies, ceremonial landing strips, airplanes made of twigs to appease the flying food bringers. It's tempting to think that we modern enlightened folk would never be so silly, until I remember I truly do believe that the bunch of spinach I purchased and left to rot in the back of my fridge really is making me healthier, that its mere presence has summoned the deities of vitality, especially if I give it a ceremonial burial in the compost heap instead of in the garbage can. So you'll more often hear the term used these days to disparagingly refer to imitating practices or behaviors without understanding the reasons behind them and why they worked, indulging in the superficial aspects of a thing without the hard work that made them happen. The term comes up a lot in software development. Copying code using tools or frameworks or following methodology blindly without understanding why it's effective or whether or not it is appropriate for the current situation. And it's an easy thing to do in small businesses, especially if we are uncomfortable with technology or unfamiliar with the options available. We buy whatever they were using at the practice we left, or what the other law firms in town are using, or what the guy who gets an affiliate commission tells us is the best option for everyone. I talk to attorneys fairly regularly who have weird, cumbersome things like office servers or bespoke CRMs without any particular need. And while I have a bad habit of signing up for every new service that comes my way and pushing people toward purpose-built software as a solution, depending on your caseload and the type of law you practice, a spreadsheet and a few folders in OneDrive may actually be a better solution for you than a full-blown practice management system or expensive dedicated document storage provider. The key to avoiding overbuying or overcomplicating your setup largely boils down to thinking about the specific problems you need solved rather than immediately reaching for a powerful and admittedly incredibly useful tool without assessing whether or not you have the problems it solves. Don't shop for solutions before you have a problem. Another common mistake we make is jumping the gun and believing that hiring people and buying stuff actually equals growth rather than waiting until we have the business to make those hires and buy that stuff, as though headcount and shiny objects will make it rain clients. In my younger years, I decided that I needed a side hustle, since that's what all the cool kids were doing. I am borderline too lazy to have a main hustle, but the allure was just too great. I know how this game is played. I read 4-Hour Workweek. Actually, I didn't read it, but I read a 3-sentence synopsis of it, which gave me the impression that I was just one virtual assistant away from easy millions. I decided to do a little web design, SEO, and content generation. It was a big ask. I probably had at least 4 or 5 hours a month I had to spend on this thing. Now, the smart thing to do would have been get more clients until the workload and my prices were so high that it made sense to bring people on, but that's not how a hustler like me operates. I spent time buying website templates, icon packs, and graphic design bundles to put to use on all those websites that I hadn't yet sold. And in true side hustle fashion, I hired a virtual assistant. To do what? Well, that's a good question. About 2 months and 3 billable hours in, she fired me because I just wasn't giving her enough to do. You seem like a really great guy, but you just can't give me what I need right now. Women can be brutal. But she was right. I literally had nothing to give her. And frankly, I could have added another 10 clients and leveraged tools and technology to bring the time I spent on each one down so that the additional overhead of each new project was minimal. Now, you may very well be in a position where you are actually busy and really do need some help. Now you have a problem and a reason to look for a solution. What are the services and tools that can help you solve it? This is where creating systems and processes, or having a short-term contractor create them for you, gives you a much clearer idea of what you need done, and if it's something that can be addressed with automation or AI, or some piece of software that seemed really expensive 6 months ago, but is a lot cheaper than the hire you are about to make. But adding software and people isn't going to produce clients from the sky. Problems come first, solutions come second. I'm Ned Days, and that's your tech tip.
And now for your moment of concise advice. We were in Bangkok a week ago in a busy mall, overrun with tourists, and I was headed for an egg sandwich place that just recently opened. I'd read great reviews about it, and I was hungry, and I love an egg sandwich. So I got there, and I placed my order on their fancy kiosk, and I ended up with the combo meal that came with tater tots and a drink, and the pictures of the food really excited me. Just looking at that kiosk screen, I was suddenly really, really hungry. And the machine, as it processed through, it asked me for my QR code. Well, I didn't have a QR code. Yes, I had a credit card and I had some Thai baht cash, but I had no QR code because at that point, the QR codes were only available to residents with a Thai bank account. I didn't have a Thai bank account, so I didn't have a QR code. I walked around from the kiosk over to the counter and I talked to the young woman and I asked her, credit card? No, she shook her head. Cash? No, she shook her head again. And here we are standing in the middle of a mall swarmed by international tourists, and this egg sandwich place is insisting on a Thai bank QR code. They don't take credit cards, they don't take cash, and there are no egg sandwiches for foreigners who don't have a local bank account. Well, I walked away hungry, and the egg business, they lost a sale. I have to say that it's astonishing how many businesses make it complicated for people like me to give them money. Think about all the payment services that you could accept in your law firm: credit cards and cash and ACH transfers and Venmo and Zelle and wire transfers and foreign currency via Wise. The list is endless, and I bet you could figure out a way to accept Alipay from China if you wanted to. Each of these services meets a different need for a different type of client. There are lots of ways to pay, and if your customers can't easily pay, well, they're going to do what I did with that egg sandwich. They're going somewhere else for lunch, or they're going to another law firm, and you're going to be the one missing out. So cut the friction in your law firm. Payment obstacles are the most obvious place that you can smooth things over, but they're just the beginning. There's more. There's lots more. There's always friction. Sometimes it's physical friction. Your office is hard to find, or parking is a nightmare, or you've got no signage that directs people in the right way. Other times the friction is intangible. Folks wrestle with the fear of mortality in estate work, or they balk at the conflict in family and employment issues. You already know why people stall and delay and avoid hiring you. Fix it. Fix the friction. Are they struggling to pay? Well, make it easier. Fix it. Are they conflict avoidant? Is that the friction? Well, gently explain what's possible. You can fix it. Are they nervous about revealing private information to you, about telling their secrets? Well, reassure them. Fix it. That means that you need to eliminate more than the payment hassles. You need to simplify, redesign, and smooth over the entire process of engaging with you. Offer clear instructions for parking. Make your reception area welcoming. Show prospective clients how this process can be easier for them. Often, an easy way to address emotional and psychological friction is to invest in a conversation that meets people where they are. A quick phone call can help someone to overcome their discomfort around personal issues and concerns. Reduce the friction. Make it easy. A firm that removes obstacles, whether they involve parking or payment or personal anxiety, they don't just get hired more, they also build stronger relationships because clients appreciate the thoughtfulness and the comfort. They appreciate the lack of friction. Taking these steps, it's such a small effort, yet it makes a colossal difference when you look at your long-term results. Reduce the friction, fix it, sell that egg sandwich, and sell those legal services. That's your moment of concise advice. Wrapping up from Singapore, thanks for spending a few minutes with me and Ned today. We hope you have a great weekend and an even better week next week. Keep plugging away, moving forward, and getting things done. You're on the right track. You'll get there. I promise. We're all in this together, and together we build better practices through better marketing, better management, and better technology. Until next time, I'm Lee Rosen.
Thanks for listening to Your Law Firm. Subscribe to the Friday File at roseninstitute.com and join thousands of lawyers focused on working on instead of in their practices. You'll find safe, successful, actionable approaches for transforming your firm. Sign up for free at roseninstitute.com.